Hi, I'm Daphne Moon, and usually I'm here to talk to you about the newest festival that the temple is going to, or the fundraiser event that we're putting on for ourselves and for some local charitable organization. So I know how many of you have heard of me and seen me. But today I am here to talk to you about myself. Um, so late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, I woke up to a weird smell. And I was like, man, my roommates must be burning a lot of incense. But that's something that they sometimes do, so I didn't really think much of it until I heard a whisper in my ear say, "Get up." So I opened my eyes and I looked over at the night light that I have in my room for my son, and it was hazy. I could tell that there was smoke around it, and I thought that was weird. And then I had this like kind of flippant, sarcastic voice go, "God, I hope the house isn't on fire." And then that same voice that whispered, "Wake up," said, "That's it. It's on fire. Go." And I'm the kind of person that usually takes a little while to wake up. I'm a little fuzzy and groggy in the morning, but I was instantly awake. And I got up out of bed and I went and opened my bedroom door, and it was dark in the hallway, so I tried to switch the light on, and that was when I realized that the light was on, that there was just so much smoke in the hallway that I couldn't see. So I made my way through the smoke and towards the front door, and as I did, it got hotter and hotter, and so I opened the front door after a little bit of wrestling with it, and got outside and was coughing and gasping for air. And something inside of me was like, open the back door, let more smoke out. So I fought into the kitchen and all the way through to the back door, and I opened it, and it was like, I don't know if it was the suction from the heat or what it was, but it felt like something slammed that door in front of me. So I wrestled it back open and I held it open with a chair. When I turned around, I was able to look and see just how much was already on fire. And when I saw that, it clicked that there was no saving this house. There was no me getting water from the sink and throw it, like it was over. So I ran to my roommates and woke them up and told them that the house was on fire and that we had to go. Looking back on it now, I realized that the hallway had cleared of the smoke. The lights were on and we could see each other because I had let the smoke out. But we got out the front door and we started calling 911, and about that time the flames exploded. I heard the ceiling collapse inside, and I heard glass busting and breaking, and I just knew that it was over. We had lost everything. And I went into a little bit of shutdown. The neighbors came and brought us some socks and coats and blankets and stuff, and I called my dad and told him what was happening, and he came. We got Crystal and Ashton into an extended stay hotel, and I just wanted my son. I wanted to go to my parents' house and see my baby, so I got in my dad's car and he started driving, and So one of the few times in my adult life that I've really appreciated my father's ability to sit in silence. Because I didn't want to talk. I didn't want anybody to talk to me. Excuse me. There were a few minutes there that I seriously considered never speaking again. I felt exhausted. I felt like every single time that I get to a place where I feel like I might be a little bit stable, like my life might be building, like things might be okay this time, something comes along to just knock me off. And there was definitely a, like, what's the point thought. There was a, maybe I should just take off my seatbelt and open the door and throw myself out, just so it could be over, just so I don't have to think about it or deal with it anymore. Just be done. But I've been struggling with depression and anxiety and suicidal ideation since I was a teenager, so I knew not to follow that train of thought. And we got to my parents' house, and my mother just wrapped me up in one of the biggest hugs I think she's given me since I was like a kid. And I just cried. The next thing I knew, my son was awake and had walked into the room 2 hours before he normally wakes up. Just, Mommy, what's wrong? And I just fell to the floor holding him, crying, and I told him that I had woken up in the middle of the night and that the house was on fire, and that the firefighters came and they put out the fire, and that Uncle Ashton and Aunt Crystal were safe, but that all of the kitties had died, and that I didn't know if we were going to be able to get any of his clothes or toys or any of our other stuff out of the house. He, you know, he's 4. Like, the kitties. Such a sweet soul. That was his first concern, and then his second concern was, but what about my toys? Which was so sweet. And then his third question was, so we don't live there anymore? Actually, it was, we don't live there anymore again. We've moved a lot in the last couple of years since I left his father. And I think he's missing some stability. But I know, like, he's gonna be okay. He's a kid. He's resilient. He's so smart and so kind. He's gonna be fine. But I do wish that I could provide a little more of that feeling of stability for him. And so that's why we're here. I have held on to this dream for many years now, of having a sustainable community where I could live and grow my own food and harvest my own water and write and paint and live simply. And over the years, it's developed just from sustainable living to having a school to teach people how to also live sustainably. And then there was a school to have our kids learn all of the normal, math, reading, writing, and also how to live sustainably. And then as I developed on my spiritual path, it became, well, why don't we also have a wellness center? Why don't we offer retreats and classes and trainings? And when people come and live with us, they can get a well-rounded, full education, not just food, not just spirit, not just mind, but all three. And being a survivor of domestic and sexual violence myself, I've always wanted to be able to provide those things to other survivors for free. One of the hardest things leaving my ex was that he had been in control completely of our finances through our entire relationship. So I had no credit, I had no record of rental or employment history or anything. I had no marketable skills, really. I mean, I've taught yoga for a long time, but unfortunately, there's kind of fortunately and unfortunately, there's a lot of people now who teach yoga. It's a very competitive market, and so it's not something that I can reasonably sustain myself on. So leaving my ex, I went into minimum wage employment because that's all I had available to me. I didn't have the education that I needed to get anything else. I didn't have the ability. I had no money, And I want to give other survivors an opportunity to walk away from the relationships that are destroying them. The ones where they could die, literally, at any moment. And walk into a place that is going to fully support them, give them everything they need, the mental, emotional, physical stuff that they need, the spiritual stuff that they need, and the ability to provide for themselves, to feed themselves and their children. And on Monday night, the night before this happened, I sat with my community and we prayed together in something called a new moon ceremony. And we decided that we were going to pray for what we wanted for ourselves in the next month and what we wanted for the community and the world in the next year. And what I prayed for was the abundance and support necessary to be able to thrive so that my son and I could be together and I could provide for us in the next month. And I wanted that to translate into the education and the resources and the support that I need to have this wellness center up and running in the next year. And just over 24 hours later, the house burned to the ground. And so I am choosing this as a moment for me to rise from the ashes and to call on the community that I now see on fire to serve, to help me make this real. We have an opportunity here to take a tragedy and to turn it into something incredible. But I need your help to do it. Because of the fire, a man has found me who is a lawyer and a CPA by profession, who has a team that he wants me to work with and who wants to mentor me so that I'll have the business acumen and the education that I need to turn this wellness center into something real. A man that never would have heard of me, never would have found me except for this fire. Now I know that coincidence is not accidental. I know that the serendipity of this moment means something. And I fully intend to take the next year turning this dream into a reality. and I need all the help I can get. Please. Thank you.